Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make lemon roly-poly. So a roly-poly is a suet based dessert, and so it's quite dense but very popular, particularly when I was younger. It's still popular these days, but it was popular when I was younger, and often it was made as a dessert with jam in the middle, a jam roly-poly. You could have a savoury version, and I've got a recipe for that, bacon and onion roly-poly. But this one is going to be lemon, and I'm going to use lemon curd, but I'm also going to make a quick lemon syrup and brush that over the surface of the suet pastry before I put the lemon curd on, just to give it an extra bit of flavour. So it's not a difficult recipe, but it takes a bit of time because it's going to take about 1 hour and 3/4 to steam in the oven. Basically it bakes in the oven, but with a pan of water underneath, creating steam to get it steamed. So I'll go on to the ingredients, and for this I have 175 grams, which is 1 cup plus 3 tablespoons of self-raising flour. Now, if you don't have self-raising flour, you can use the same amount of plain flour, but then once you've measured that out, take out 1 3/4 teaspoons and replace it with 1 3/4 teaspoons of baking powder and mix it together to get it combined, and that will have the same effect. Then I have 25 grams, which is 2 tablespoons of caster sugar, 100 grams of suet, and this is shredded suet here, and you can get a beef suet or you can get a vegetable suet. Very easy to get in the UK, it's in every supermarket. In some other places it's more difficult to get, but you can actually buy this particular brand in most countries online, although it will be expensive. If you can't get suet, you could use very cold butter and grate the butter so that it sort of resembles that sort of thing, basically. Then I also have 75 millilitres, 5 tablespoons of cold milk, 125 grams, about 4 tablespoons of lemon curd, and I'm not going to be prescriptive about that, it's as much as you want basically, but that should be enough. And then for my syrup, I have here 100 grams of caster sugar, which is half a cup, and in this container I have 45 millilitres, 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 15 millilitres, 1 tablespoon of water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that first, and you don't need to watch that being made, but I'm going to put my sugar into a pan, and I'm going to put the lemon juice in as well with the water, and then I'm going to put that onto the heat, and I'm going to bring that to the boil. And once it comes to the boil, I'm going to reduce the heat and keep it simmering for about 5 minutes, stirring it from time to time until all the sugar has dissolved. And then I'm going to pour it into a dish and leave it to cool down. I'm only going to use about 2 tablespoons of that in this recipe, and the rest I will actually just use in the mornings, stirring into my porridge, but 2 tablespoons will be enough. Now you can omit this if you want. If you don't want to use the syrup, you can leave it out and you would still have a lovely tasting roly-poly with just the lemon. So I've taken 2 tablespoons of the syrup, which I've just simmered, and put it into a small dish. I want that to cool down. That's then ready to brush onto my pastry. So I now have my oven preheating at 180 degrees Celsius, that's 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit, and I've got myself a deep tray like that which I'm going to pour boiling water into and stand that in the oven while I'm baking my roly-poly. So everything's ready, so we'll go on to make the dough. And also, as part of the preparation, I have a sheet of parchment paper here and also a sheet of aluminium foil, and our roly-poly is going to be rolled up and then placed in those. So I'll set those to one side just for a moment, and then I'm going to put my flour, yeast and sugar into a bowl. I'm just going to give those a bit of a mix around, get those distributed with each other, and then I'm going to pour in my milk, and I'm just going to use a knife to mix those around until I have basically a thick stodgy dough. And if I think it's too dry, I may add just a little bit more milk. It all depends on how absorbent the flour is, basically. And I can see that's beginning to come together. I'm just going to give it a bit of a squeeze. And I think I'm just going to add just a drop, maybe a teaspoon of milk. And that's good enough like that. So then I need to roll that out, basically. And to do that, I'm going to lightly flour my surface. And again, I'm using self-raising flour for this. And I want to roll the dough out into a rectangle which is about 11 inches by 8 inches, which is 28 centimetres by 20 centimetres. And that's rolled out quite well like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my syrup that I made and I'm going to brush that over and with the syrup I can go almost right up to the edge. With the curd I won't be going all the way up to the edge, but the syrup, because it's sticky, will actually help seal. And that's good like that. So then I'm going to take the lemon curd and I'm going to spread that over, but I'm going to leave a gap of 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch all the way round, because the curd will ooze out as I roll it up, and I need to have a bare edge to create a seal as well. And I think that's enough actually. So then I'm going to take one of the short edges, I'm going to roll that up like that, and then I'm simply going to put that onto my prepared parchment paper and foil, and I'm going to put it into the centre like that, and I'm going to wrap it up. Now I'm not going to wrap this up tightly because it's going to expand as it cooks in the oven. So I'm just going to take the foil like that, and wrap it like that, and then wrap the ends over as well. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the foil. I'm just going to crimp the foil together like that, and crimp the ends like that, and then that's ready to go into the oven. So I'm going to put that onto the middle rack of the oven without any baking tray. I'm just going to stand the foil on the middle rack, and underneath that I'm going to place my pan, and then I'm going to pour boiling water in the pan until there's about 3/4 of an inch to an inch of boiling water, and then I'm going to let the roly-poly cook for 1 hour and 45 minutes. It should rise within the parchment and the aluminium foil. I'll take it out of the oven, and I'll stand it on a wire rack, and I'll leave it for 5 minutes. Have to leave it a little bit of time because it's going to be full of steam. And after 5 minutes I will carefully open the foil and the parchment paper, release any excess steam, and then when it's cooled down a little bit I'll come back and show you the results. I baked the lemon roly-poly for 1 hour and 45 minutes. I took it out of the oven and left it for 5 minutes before I opened the foil and the parchment paper. So now I've cut it, and this is what it looks like. So it's baked up quite nicely, as you can see, and I've cut a couple of slices and put it with some custard. So I'll have a taste of this with just a little bit of the custard. Very, very nice. The roly-poly is cooked all the way through. I get the lemon flavour as well, and it works very well indeed. So it's actually a simple recipe, even though it takes a little bit of time. That's going to be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well, and I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.